The Brad Field Weather Podcast, underwritten by Action Carpet and Floor Covering of Simsbury, a family-run business there for you, and by McAllen Construction. McAllen Construction, from the first dig to the last nail. I am Dan Lavallo. He is Brad Field. It is the day after Christmas, and we are here with a special Brad Field Weather Podcast because, Brad, we've got a storm coming in, don't we?
Dan, we've got advisories up for the entire state, a winter weather advisory up for the whole state. We have a winter storm warning in effect for Litchfield, Fairfield, and New Haven County. So if you can't envision that in your head, it's the western third of Connecticut and southwestern Connecticut. We have a more strong emphasis on accumulation in that part of the state.
How come?
Well, it's because of where the storm is going to be tracking, Dan. We are going to see that part of the state tracking closer to the actual storm center. As you get away from the storm track, like, for example, up toward Boston and the North Shore of Boston, they might not get much of anything from the storm. It's a highly unusual track. Usually we see storms track across the nation in some form of west to east. This particular storm is going northwest to southeast. So, if you take a line from the extreme northwest corner of Connecticut to the extreme southeast corner of Connecticut, west of there is where I'm expecting the heaviest snow. So we can kind of use Hartford as a pivot point and say south and west of Hartford will be the heaviest accumulations, whereas north and east of Hartford, the accumulations will start to taper.
Brad, I'm hearing, and perhaps even you have as well, even New York City's going to get slammed. Is that right?
Yeah. New York City's going to get a good little snowstorm out of this. I would say the city itself, probably something on the order of 3 to 6 inches of snow, but that's significant for the Central Park and the rest of the boroughs.
For sure. How about the storm track? You mentioned how it's going from northwest to southeast. Give us an overview on the storm track.
Yeah, right now, Dan, the storm is in northwestern sections of Ohio. And by this evening, I expect the storm to be around Pittsburgh. So it's sort of on a southeasterly trajectory. So that this evening, it's around Pittsburgh. By about 1 a.m, it's in the area of Chesapeake Bay. And then by daybreak tomorrow, this thing is moving out to sea. So if we try to look at the timing, Dan, I think between, say, 5 p.m., so we're talking about dark, right around dark, I think the first flakes will break out over western Connecticut. And between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m., the snow will overspread the entire state. Now, I expect the snow to really ramp up between 8 p.m. and say 2 a.m. So that 6-hour window in there. And we can probably narrow it even further to a 4-hour window, Dan, say between 9 p.m. and 1 a.m. The snow rates could be very heavy. So you don't want to be out driving around this evening between those times of 9 p.m. and 1 a.m. because you may encounter near whiteout conditions. It is going to be snowing hard during that time frame. I wouldn't be surprised if we see snow rates on the order of an inch an hour, especially in those favored locations I told you about, Dan, in Litchfield County, out where you are, Fairfield County in the southwest corner of Connecticut, and even New Haven County. Those 3 counties could easily see snow accumulate at the rate of an inch an hour between 9 p.m. and 1 a.m.
Now, what's interesting is what is fueling this storm from a moisture standpoint. Where is it getting all of its ammunition?
Well, it doesn't have much in the way of ammunition now. If you look at the thing, it's not much, and that's what these clipper systems are, Dan. They're really landlocked, and they get their moisture when they hit the when they're able to draw on the waters of the Atlantic. So we are looking at sort of an evolving storm as this thing comes toward us. All of a sudden, it's going to bring in a lot of the moisture from the Atlantic. Another factor with this storm, Dan, and why I think accumulations can really pile up is we have, if you have not been out this morning, we have pure Arctic air in place. I mean, temperatures are in the teens. The dew point is down near zero, which signifies that this is Arctic air. So the column above us is very cold. So we will have excellent snow growth. The actual dendrites will there'll be the beautiful snowflakes coming down, but there will be a lot of them, and it will be the dry, fluffy snow that'll be coming down. So it's really going to pile up. And I think most of us, Dan, are going to get 4 to 8 inches of accumulation from this thing, and it's going to be rapid fire. If you don't look out the window, say after 8 or 9 o'clock, you may, your last look may be nothing on the ground, and then you get up to tomorrow morning and say, "What the heck happened?" There'll be like that much on the ground, but it's going to come down fast, and it's going to come down furiously, especially in we'll say for some, the 8 p.m. hour, but for all of us in the 9 p.m. hour, the 10 p.m. hour, the 11 p.m. hour, the midnight hour, the 1 a.m. hour. It is going to come down furiously. And that is the time frame we're going to get most of our snow. Once we get beyond 2 a.m., say from 2 a.m. to 8 a.m., probably just another inch. So after 2 a.m., we'll have light snow and flurries. They may linger into the morning, but when you wake up, it's going to be this beautiful vista. It's just going to be a beautiful storm. It's so pretty. It's going to be, I think, Dan, I'm not always right on this, but I think it's going to be easy to shovel, kind of one of those beautiful snowstorms. And it's pure snow. There won't be any sleet mixing in, there won't be any freezing rain mixing in. All snow, all areas. And Bridgeport, Stamford, Norwalk, New Haven. This is your snowstorm. You're getting it just as much as Torrington, Dan. I said 4 to 8 for the most of us. I should specify, because of the way the storm's tracking, we said northwest to southeast. The place in Connecticut that will get the least will be up toward Killingly and Pomfret, the northeast quiet corner.
Right.
But we're still, decent snow there, 2 to 4 inches. So the plow guys are going to get their money. They're going to need to get out and plow. You get around the center part of the state, most of us getting 4 to 8. But I wouldn't be shocked. And the place that I think has the best chance of getting the most would be the hills of Fairfield County.
Wow.
Yeah. I could see some 9s, maybe even some 10s in that area. So again, most of us getting 4 to 8. Some of us, if you live in Killingly or Pomfret, may be getting only 2 to 4. And some of us, if you live in the hills out toward, I don't know, let's say, what did I say? In Fairfield County. So, from Bridgeport to Stamford up to Danbury, and especially favoring the hilly terrain out there, Ridgefield, for example, that area, somebody could pop a 10 out of this thing.
Wow.
So, when we're all said and done, I'd say the accumulations might be as low as, say, 3 inches up around Killingly and Pomfret to maybe 10 inches in Ridgefield. But most of us coming in with that 4 to 8 of fluff.
Now, I know you have some concerns about this storm. What are they?
Yeah. My concern, Dan, is for driving. Not that we don't know how to drive in snow, we certainly do, but most of us do. But you get the occasional cowboy, we call him, right? Among other things, we can't say on the podcast. But I'm concerned, Dan, about the rate of it coming down. I think, and I don't say this much, if you have to get out and go somewhere, I mean, obviously you have to, but if you can possibly stay off the roads in that time frame that I mentioned between 8 p.m. and 2 a.m., I would do so, because it will be heavy snow, swirling snow, visibility will be cut. By definition, Dan, heavy snow is accumulating to the rate of sometimes up to an inch an hour, but it restricts visibility to a quarter mile or less. So, you complicate that with high beams and snowing at that rate, it's going to be very difficult to see. So that would be my advice. For example, and I'm not going to name names here or whatever, but I'm going to a party today, and I would advise, the younger people that will be at that party to either stay there or not travel after 8 p.m. because it will be very dangerous, very dangerous.
Well, and again, you've gone over the snow amounts. Essentially, you're saying 4 to 8 inches for a good portion of the state. Maybe the quiet corner gets 2 to 4 inches, and the Fairfield Hills could get much as 10 inches, is what you're saying.
You nailed it, Dan. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. If I had to come up with a specific number, I like 6 in Hartford.
Mhm.
I like 7 or 8 up at your place in Torrington.
Yeah.
Ask me a town, I'll give you a number. But this storm, it's a classic. It's probably not going to be the best snowball snow.
Right.
In the wake of the storm tomorrow, I see temperatures only in the 20s.
Mhm.
So it should be easy to shovel, but fairly heavy because there'll be a lot of it. But
It's interesting though, Brad. You're talking about this being a classic snowstorm, and it's going to bring a substantial amount of snow, but it's not going to be a nor'easter.
no, it's not a nor'easter. It's virtually a clipper. Just swinging down out of Canada, coming along. But I will add to this, Dan, to just consider this. We don't have blocking yet. So I'm not concerned that this is going to happen. But the blizzard of 78 was a clipper, a clipper that moved off the southern New England coast and couldn't move because of a block. And it just sort of went around in a circle under southern New England and just kept dumping snow, dumping snow, dumping snow. So the saving grace on this thing is it's going to be moving along.
Okay.
And I'm looking at that 4-hour window between 9 p.m. and 1 a.m. for very heavy snow.
Okay.
So we get 90% of what's going to be on the ground by morning by 1 or 2 a.m. for sure.
Well, and you think you're out of the woods, but then there's some concerns about Sunday. What can you tell us about Sunday?
Yeah. So tomorrow morning, Dan, the storm that brought us the 4 to 8 inch snow blitz tonight will be out to sea, and we'll have Arctic high pressure moving in. It'll be strung out tomorrow evening from eastern Canada down through New York into Virginia. So the axis of the Arctic cold is still to our west. we will be purely in the Arctic air tomorrow night, such that I think many towns tomorrow night, Saturday night, will see temperatures in the single digits. I'm not predicting zero, but I could see it 6, 7, 8, 9 degrees at many towns across Connecticut. So Sunday morning, you wake up, we've got good snow cover on the ground. We've got the Arctic cold in place. The high on Sunday morning is sprung out from upstate New York to coastal Virginia. So the cold air is still entrenched over us. It's not as if the high is offshore and we've got a return flow of southerly winds. I don't see that. The cold air is in place. Now, Sunday morning, we'll see a low pressure system around Chicago with a warm front stretching down to about western North Carolina. Details, Dan, I have not really studied this because I'm more studying the snowstorm tonight, but it looks, signals are out there that we could have freezing rain for a while Sunday night. And that's bad. We could have warm air up at cloud level, but stubborn cold air here near the ground, especially with the snow on the ground, especially with the location of that Arctic high. It's not going to just give up and move off. It's going to be stubborn. And as the warm air tries to get in, I think we see raindrops descending from higher up that if they have time to freeze, they will freeze into ice pellets. But if they don't, and indications are they might not because the cold air may be very shallow toward the ground on Sunday night, we could have temperatures, say, in the 20s and it raining. That is not a good situation.
No.
So we will have more on that certainly tomorrow morning and for sure Sunday morning. So you'll want to consult bradfieldweather.com and we will have the latest on that. I will be away, so it's going to be very difficult to do a podcast from wherever I am. So we will try to keep you up to speed with the latest on the actual web page. So go to bradfieldweather.com. Dan's already updated the forecast for us for today, saying about the 4 to 8 inches coming tonight and all that, where the winter storm warning is, where the winter weather advisory is. So we'll keep you up to date there.
Okay, and that said, and we are putting this podcast together on Boxing Day, the day after Christmas, December 26th, the Friday. What does our immediate forecast look like?
All right, Dan, the sunshine fades today as the clouds increase. Temperatures no higher than the 20s. And I think the snow commences around or just after dark. So let's say 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. The snow commences. It ramps up to heavy, fast. Between 8 p.m. and 2 a.m., we get a snow blitz. It is going to come down fast and furiously. Now, after 2 a.m. and until about mid-morning, say 8 or 9 tomorrow morning, flurries in the air. But we'll go over the accumulation again. 2 to 4 inches in the northeast corner, 4 to 8 inches for most of us, and 8 inches plus. I'm favoring the hills of southern Litchfield County and Fairfield County. Somebody could pop a 10. All of a sudden say, hey, I had 10 inches of snow. So this is a pretty good storm. We'll call it a moderate snowstorm. Can't really start calling it a blockbuster until you get a foot or two. But, this is a good sized storm. During the day on Saturday, gradual clearing, temperatures 26 to 32. For Saturday night, we'll call it clear and very cold. Temperatures for most of us between 8 and 14. Sunday will be very similar to today. Sunshine fades as clouds increase through the day. Temperatures between 28 and 34 on Sunday. Rain Sunday night. But here's the problem. It's in the 20s. So we have freezing rain. Right now, Dan, I'm hoping to God that the warm front comes through on Monday morning. Because if it doesn't come through, we have an ice storm. But if it comes through, temperatures on Monday may pop to 38 to 44 briefly before another cold front swings through, shuts down the rain on Monday, and gives us a Tuesday of partly sunny, very windy, and very cold. Again, temperatures Tuesday only between 26 and 32. Wednesday is New Year's Eve. We'll see partly sunny conditions, 28 to 34. Dan, it's possible that we have another clipper coming through on New Year's Eve. So you're going to want to pay attention to that forecast because that, people are out and about driving around on New Year's Eve. So we got to be concerned about that. New Year's Day looks like a cold front is offshore. It's windy. It's Arctic cold again with temperatures only in the 20s. So this is shaping up to be, I think, a good winter.
Yep.
If you like snow and cold, it's shaping up to be a good winter.
That is for sure. Well, on that note, to you and Sandy and our audience, you enjoy the holiday weekend. It's certainly going to seem like winter around here because we are in winter time. But you be well, my friend.
You be well, Dan, and give my best to Susan, and I give my best to all our listeners and viewers. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brad. The Brad Field Weather Podcast has been underwritten by McAllen Construction. McAllen Construction, from the first dig to the last nail. And by Action Carpet and Floor Covering of Simsbury, a family-run business there for you.